Hello, how you doing? Salut. I am the Rasta Witch. Here's where we learn the way of the Yan Sui Rasta, which is to say, my kind of Ital. Please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft. All roads lead to Rome. Home. Hi, how you doing? Okay, so if you watched my last video, it was my video on what magic is, what the occult is, what witchcraft is. That being the most logical place to start. And the reason that what I'm doing is I'm starting my playlist called My Craft, about my version of witchcraft. All roads lead to Rome. So if you watch the intro video at the top of my homepage, which logically you would have, um, I explained in there that what I've tried to do in beginning this YouTube channel is to do those first 5 playlists that are numbered. Playlist number 1, Intro to Tarot. Playlist number 2, What is the Kabbalah? Playlist number 3, Early Rastafarian History. Playlist 4, Bible Discussions. Playlist 5, The Lion King. Because those are the foundational pieces, that you would need. And it was more about finishing those quick so that I could move on to this part. This is the part I've been excited about, where I can go more into just the witchcraft, So, so I did the last video on what is magic in the first place. If you're gonna talk about witchcraft, the first step is to define what witchcraft is, what magic is, And so this video is more about, it's kind of like the Kabbalah. Remember the meaning of number 1? The last video was like Keter, the first Sephira, and this video is kind of like Kokma, the second Sephira, we're kind of like going down the lightning flash like that, I mean, I didn't think of that till just now. It's not really what I'm trying to do, but that's just what you always, that's the beauty of the Kabbalah. It's just what you do anyway. It's just how things work, So the logical point in time right now is to describe what I'm trying, what it is that I'm trying to do, kind of like, why would you listen to me, and what are you listening to when you listen to me, type thing. So my intro on every video, it's the reason I have that, the I am the Rasta Witch, here's where we learn the way of the Yan Sui Rasta, which is to say, my kind of Ital. Please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft. All roads lead to Rome, home. The reason I say that on each one of them, it's to earn your trust, because like the question of these days so much, like it says in Matthew 24, for those Bible people out there, and blah blah blah. That's not talking about these days and all that. Yeah. I've heard it all before. Is that like everybody's trying to pull you over to their side of the argument, So I'm trying to just be upfront and tell you exactly what's going on here, like what's happening, by saying that at the beginning of each one, I say salutes, like each like, so that's a big deal. I say salut, that's French for hi, that's how you say hi, how you doing, the most casual, non-formal hello in French, and the reason that's important is because it's like, yeah, you're an American, but what's your background? You're obviously not, a Pan-African, you're obviously not a black person, so what, we know you're a Rasta because you're the Rasta witch, but what are you? Yeah, I'm French, Franco-Anglo-American, So that's kind of my way of saying, yeah, you're listening to a Franco-American, because I know that's what you're wondering, kind of, but that's okay. That's not so bad. And then the next line I say, I am the Rasta witch, So there I'm convinced, I'm explaining that it's not so much about the subject of what is a Rasta witch, as much as it's talking about why I am a Rasta witch. In other words, you don't have to be the same thing. The next line is where we learn the way of the Yan Sui Rasta. you know. So like I explained in my one thing, so like one thing you would want to do is in my first playlist, the one called intro slash thesis, uh, how to tarot. The reason that at the very first of that I put an intro thesis content at the very beginning, you know, the first uh, fourth of that playlist is me just kind of doing, you know what a thesis statement is. I took a essay writing in college, so I know that the proper way to write an essay. I'm approaching my YouTube channel like it's an essay. The appropriate way is to have a thesis statement to give people an idea of you know where we're going to be going with this, you know, and an outline, an objective outline, you know. Um, So in that, I have this one video called "My Journey to Theology slash LSD," you know, and it doesn't have a lot of views in that, you know. I think it's important to be a free thinker nowadays, you know, and part of free thinking should be that you're wondering where I'm coming from. You know, it's not so much about, oh, look at me, look at me. It's just, you know, that's an important, that's what I'm telling you now. That's what you want to know about me. I was someone that, you know, I was the high school drunk stoner, and then towards the end of, you know, like the end of my 11th grade year and the beginning of my 12th grade year, I got really into the Grateful Dead and LSD, and went on some really heavy LSD trips. And that's where this began. Before those LSD trips, I didn't care about praying or God or whether there even was a God or religion in the slightest, you know. But then I dedicated especially an era of my life I call the School of Religion. It was an 11-year period of my life where I dedicated every waking hour. Like I carried a book with me everywhere I went, even on the job. Okay, you can sit down for a second, I would pull out my book. Like I didn't miss one spare second. I was praying and studying and meditating every waking second for 11 years. You know, that's how serious I was about finding answers to my questions about who is God, what it means, and what, you know, what does it mean to have a theogony, and you know, what's the basic theology studies about, you know. I guess that's redundant, but you know, Yan Sui means follow your heart. In this exposing, and I'd recommend listening to that video. I shouldn't go into any more detail about that. You know, yes, I have a history with drugs and everything, and you know, so that would be like if you to also have a history with those kind of problems, and your story is somewhat similar, then the more you have that in common with me, the more you might want to take the Rasta part seriously. But the key word here is not so much Rasta as it is Yan Sui. So in my search for theology, I realized that I'm not a Buddhist, I'm not a Christian, I'm not anything. I'm like, and I had to make my own word, Yan Sui. It's a word I invented. Ya means fire, water, air, and earth, and Sui is the English word ensue. I just changed how you pronounce it to ensue to ensue Jah, who is fire, water, air, and earth, and who is within. It means to follow your heart, really, you know. So the way of the Yan Sui Rasta, you know, I'm a Yan Sui Rasta, you know, but you might, you know, the next line I say, which is to say my kind of Aital, you know. Aital means genuine. It's my kind of being myself, being genuine, you know. Aital means like natural / genuine in Rasta language, Ayeric. And then I say, please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft. So maybe your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft is, you know, is Yan Sui Buddhist or Yan Sui. Maybe you'll make up another word, you know, Yan Sui Kukamunga or Yan Sui Sky Flyer or Yan Sui, you know, which just means you follow, which means Yah is Yahweh, the tetragram, fire, water, air, and earth. Like I say over and over and over again all the time on this channel, you know. Jah, it's because Yahweh is casting pearl before swine. You don't want to walk around saying Yahweh all the time. You know, that's too much information. Jah is short for Yahweh, so that you can refer to your God. You know, that way. But it really just means Yahweh, YHWH, fire, water, air, and earth. You know, and it's the wands, cups, swords, and pentacles in the tarot deck, and it's the Kabbalah. You know, it means that you use the traditional deity of the Kabbalah and blah blah blah. You know, but really the Rasta part, it's because we're Bob Marley to me is a prophet. You know, so Yah and Sway means that you follow, that you use the tarot deck and the Kabbalah and the tetragram, and you follow your heart, because that's where Yahweh is in your heart, and you make up your own kind of witchcraft, Yah and Sway witchcraft. You know, my kind of Yah and Sway witchcraft is Yah and Sway Rasta. Like I said, yours could be another kind. And then all roads lead to Rome. You know, meaning just extra emphasis on that. You know, it doesn't, you know, you don't need to do it the same way. That's not really what this is about. And then I say home at the end, because that's what my LSD trips were about. It was, at first I didn't know. I was, you know, trying to figure out answers to those kind of questions. At first, I just knew that I needed to figure out what it means. I felt like I needed to go home, and what does home mean, and where is home, and what does home mean? The word home in that is like the whole foundational preoccupation and worry, and it's the, you know, it's the most important word in there in a way, as far as trying to figure out where I'm coming from. So in a religion, so that's, you know, I'll repeat it. Salut, I am the Rasta witch. Here's where we learn the way of the Yah and Sway Rasta, which is to say, my kind of Ital. And that's what a Rasta does, is try to figure out their kind of Ital. You know, and that kind of Ital might be following another religious leader, a Rasta, an elder or something, and your kind of Ital is 80% their teachings or whatever, you know. That's up to you. Only you know. All roads lead to Rome. You have to decide that. Please subscribe and begin your own kind of Yah and Sway witchcraft. Yah and Sway witchcraft. So, you know, all roads lead to Rome home. So that's what we're trying to do here. So, a major influence book in my teaching, or in my learning, I'm sorry, is the book, the Witch's Magical Handbook, and that book, it says that you don't have to have a deity, you don't have to pick a deity. You know, to do the Kabbalah, to be a Yah and Sway, you don't even have to believe in a God in the first place. You don't have to be Rasta. You don't even have. You can be a complete atheist. It's not about, you know, the bigger picture isn't about the theism, and it isn't about Rasta. You know, I guess you could argue that it isn't even about witchcraft, though. That I think that the Kabbalah is witchcraft, personally. I guess technically, the bigger picture over between the tarot deck and the Kabbalah is the Kabbalah. You know, the Kabbalah would be the bigger picture thing here, you know, and that's why you'd want to see. You can see why I did those first 5 playlists. You know, you're going to want to know the Kabbalah, which is the tarot deck, and that's the whole foundation of what a Yah and Sway witch is the Kabbalah and the tarot deck. Those two are the most important ones. But to get to understand me, where I'm coming from, you'd want to know about my history with LSD and my trips and what began me down this journey. You'd want to know about the era of my life, the School of Religions. And then you'd want to know I ended up a Rasta. To understand Rasta, you want to know the early Rastafarian history. See how that's all important? And the whole point of Rasta is the Lion King, Haile Selassie, you know? That's the definitive moment. It's a journey to realize that it's not about the Bible. It's about Haile Selassie and what Haile Selassie said. So what does he say, and what from a Rasta? So to learn a religion, it's always best to talk to someone that is that religion if you're trying to understand it. So now that you realize that I really am a Rasta, what you're now you should be extra interested to know what I say about Haile Selassie. You know. Yeah, I've read like every book in the world about the subject, and I know I've been studying the subject of who is Haile Selassie my whole life. Yeah, I'm someone that you want to listen to when it comes to that subject. you want to look at that playlist to see where I'm coming from. But again, the most important thing is more the Kabbalah and the tarot deck. You could just do the Kabbalah and the tarot deck and say, I already kind of get the idea with the other stuff. The least important one of those is the Bible discussions one. But Rasta is based on Bible things, so you would want to listen to that part. And especially if you're deconstructing your past, and your background is a biblical. And I grew up in a religious home. They're a Mormon home, and they very much tried to force Mormonism and that. And I went on a Mormon mission just after the LSD trips and before the School of Religions thing. What I did in between there was I went on a Mormon mission and gave my folks thing, and so I was, so I'm very educated on the Bible. In that 11-year study, I studied the Bible very thoroughly, and that was all necessary in my deconstructing. But I've moved on past the Bible part. Maybe you already have, and you just the Bible, that's the least, it might be the most important part for you in coming up with your own version of Yan Sui witchcraft. And the whole thing is an invitation for you to be able to use the word Yan Sui, because you're like, oh yeah, I want to be something that that doesn't have any rules, that I can just make it my own thing. Maybe that's why I was born, to invent the word Yan Sui. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It might not even be me that did it. It might have been spirit guides and things like that. I'm not really sure. It's brilliant, though. I do know that. It's my life's best work. So as far as picking a deity, here, if you look beside here, can you see it? There, see, I've got my books and I've got all my candles. You can see here, I've got Mother Mary. Can you see my finger pointing at it? Yeah, Mother Mary, Jesus, I call Yahushua, Haile Selassie, Saint Michael, and my guardian angel. This candle's more for me. And Beaver is my animal totem. There's the autobiographies of Haile Selassie, 2 big thick volumes of different speeches of Selassie. Eliphaz Levi. There's the Selassie books. I can't tell where I'm pointing this. The Celtic shaman and Druidism and so I've got all those. So I've got all those right there. So that'll be my next video I'll do on choosing a deity, But in the Witch's Magical Handbook that I mentioned, it goes over how the teacher, it's by one of the founding fathers of it's a couple, a husband and wife couple they're some of the founding fathers of Wicca. And I'm not a Wiccan. I'm a Yan Sui Rasta witch, but yeah, that's one of my big things. He talks about how all gods are created by the hand of man, and that you might even just get a pad of paper and sketch out your own deity, because when you pick someone else, an already existing one, it comes with all this baggage in that. But along the same lines, you don't even need to pick a deity. But I'll go over that, the pros and cons, how to pick a deity, and all that stuff. I just wanted this video to be about this, about what Yan Sui means, and I've already talked about it in other videos, but what it means from the perspective of my own witchcraft, and how you can listen to me, so that you can come up with your own kind of Yan Sui witchcraft, which is the whole point of my whole YouTube channel,